Good morning and welcome to Backyard and Beyond. And today we are going to talk about one of my favorite months coming up. That's September. It's always to me a wonderful month, usually really nice weather and beautiful plants and harvesting and just lots of great things going on in September. And of course, September marks lots of other events also. I mentioned just a few of those. Of course, it is the 9th month of the year in the Gregorian calendar, and it's one of 4 with 30 days. Stop and think about that. Only 4 of the months have 30 days. And here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the beginning of autumn. And in the Southern Hemisphere, however, it is the beginning of spring. So just switch those around. In Latin, Septem means 7, and Septemus means 7th. And September was, in fact, the 7th month of the Roman calendar until 153 BC, when the first month changed and our calendar changed a bit. September begins on the same day. Now, here's a fact you'll just want to remember, I know. September begins on the same day of the week as December every year because there are 91 days separating September and December, which is a multiple of 7, the number of days in the week. Now, like I said, that's a really important fact for you to remember, that September and December begin on the same day of the week. Well, a few events of September. What do you think of when you think of September? I'm thinking that most folks at this point still think of 9/11 as one of those dates that they will never forget, when the Twin Towers went down. However, it will be interesting in the future. As young people grow up, will that 9/11 day have that same kind of meaning? I'm guessing probably not, because they would not have experienced it. But some other days, probably less important, probably in most places. For instance, September 19th is International Talk Like a Pirate Day, something that you need to know. And National Grandparents' Day takes place on the first Sunday after Labor Day, so that's coming up really soon. As a celebration for the coming of October, the traditional harvest month in historic Germany, the German Oktoberfest is celebrated usually near the end of September rather than in October. In Australia and New Zealand, Father's Day is celebrated on the first Sunday of September. So we may have similar celebrations, but not always on the same day. If you are a September baby, then your birthstone is sapphire, and the meaning is clear thinking. You have a choice of flowers as your flower for September. Forget-me-not, which most of the men would probably say, no, that's not my teeny tiny little blue flower. Morning glory, which is a pretty strong invasive flower, or the aster, kind of an in-between kind of flower in lots of different colors. So if you have somebody with a September birthday, think about that birthstone sapphire, the birth flowers, forget-me-not, morning glory, and aster. You can choose among those or put them together. Well, one of the things that I think of, because I'm older, is Frank Sinatra's song, September Song. You know, and when I went to the web to look up September Song, well, up came a number of others, perhaps just called September, but written or sung by the Plain White T's. Chris, have you ever heard of the Plain White T's? He's shaking his head. Yes, I'd never even heard of that group. And do you know about the September Song they sing?
I do not, actually. I have a couple of their CDs, but I didn't.
It's not on there.
Song.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's good to know. And I go to this Plain White Tees. Oh, okay. And now, another one I've heard of that has this September Song is Earth, Wind, and Fire. I have at least heard of them.
Yeah.
But the one, of course, that I'm most familiar with, and the title of the song actually is September Song, versus the others are just September. And as a reminder, the lyrics for the September Song has a lengthy intro. It was most famously sung by Frank Sinatra, but we'll mention a little bit more background about that. The intro goes, "When I was a young man courting the girls, I played me a waiting game. If a maid refused me with tossing curls, I'd let the old earth take a couple of whirls. while I plied her with tears in lieu of pearls. And as time came around, she came my way. As time came around, she came. When you meet with young girls early in the spring, you court them in song and rhyme. They answer with words and a clover ring. But if you could examine the goods they bring, they have little to offer but the songs they sing, and the plentiful waste of time of day. A plentiful waste of time. Then it's a long, long time from May to December, but the days grow short when you reach September. When the autumn weather turns the leaves to flame, one hasn't got time for the waiting game. Oh, the days dwindle down to a precious few. September, November, and these few precious days I'll spend with you. These precious days I'll spend with you. So, nothing false about at least parts of this song in terms of the days grow shorter as we get to September. You obviously have noticed that. It's dark at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's dark now at 8:30 or 9 at night, and so those days are certainly growing short. And we are reaching the time when the autumn leaves are turning. Few of them have already started to turn. Not a lot, but a few. So lots of truth in that song, and of course the whole philosophy that these precious days are dwindling away. Well, the September song is a pop standard composed by Kurt Weill with the lyrics by Maxwell Anderson. Probably neither of those names that you know, but perhaps Walter Houston is a name you might recognize, and the song was introduced by Walter Houston in the 1938 Broadway musical Knickerbocker Holiday, which enjoyed moderate success and closed after 6 months. But the song continues on and has been recorded by numerous singers and instrumentalists, and it was used in the 1950 film September Affair, and the popularity of that film caused Houston's recording to hit the top of the 1950 hit parade. Anybody remember the program, the Hit Parade? It was also used as music for the credits in the television series May to December. As we mentioned, Frank Sinatra was probably the, premier person who recorded that song, but Bing Crosby recorded it twice, once in 1943 and again in 1977. The former opera singer Enzio Pinza recorded the version in 1950, and actually Frank Sinatra didn't record it until 1962, and then again in 1965. Nat King Cole recorded it in 1962, and also Jimmy Durante. So lots of male singers have done that. There are also a few female singers, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Elaine Paige, so a few not so well known, except for Ella, of course, female singers. Also, Patti Page was another one who did that. And then, of course, there were a few instrumentalists. Stan Kenton and his band, once with the Four Freshmen and June Christie, and once with Tex Ritter. It is interesting to me that there's this whole range of kinds of singers, from country western to the opera, that have included this song in their recordings. So, if you're not familiar with September song, you may want to catch up with that, and then those opportunities for other groups who have done a song titled September, about September, with very different words. So, until next time, remember, the days dwindle down to a precious few.